Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, October 14th. I'm a big fan of staying hydrated and drinking a lot of water lately. Not like super lately, but like I've recently gotten a Hydro Flask, and it's something that you have, and you're like, well, I should put this into use more. And I should, it's almost like buying a water bottle, whether it be a Hydro Flask or not. It develops a switch in your brain that tells you, oh, I should drink more water, or if I'm not going to drink more water, I better use this right now. Now you could fill it up with anything you want. I have the 32-ounce like giant one with like a straw lid that I like to call a sippy cup, but you can fill it up with water, soda, beer, coffee, soup, Kool-Aid, whatever you want, and you could, use it, and you feel like, this is a great purchase because I'm using it daily. It works. It's durable. It's made of, you would hope some kind of very strong metal, whether it be steel, iron, copper. I'm looking at the bottom of this. I don't really see what it's made of. There's no materials listed here. I just see made in China and 32 ounces. And Hydro Flask, okay, yeah, that's it. So, nothing really, to tell you if this is strong or not, really. My brother has the same kind. He dropped it a couple times. It's dented, but, it's not leaking or anything like that, so that's a good thing. But in the fact of it, making you have a habit of, drinking fluid. And, typically, like, us as people, human beings on planet Earth, we're surrounded by water. They say that 75% of the Earth is water, and that does, it's true. There's a lot more ocean than there is land on this planet, and since we're like a species, and then I guess an organism, you can say, if you want to get more scientific, we need fluid, and the best one out there is H2O to survive. If we don't have water, we'll go into this state of dehydration, which could cause even more damage to your kidneys. You can get a urinary tract infection without being hydrated. It also can affect your the way that you think. Muscles cramp up and tighten. It's just, you need water to survive. And before you even get to those very bad states of your health, your brain will tell you, hey, I feel pretty shitty. I feel like I'm gonna collapse. I should probably have some water. Those are the warning signs that your body gives you to say, like, you know what, bro, maybe you should splash a little bit of water in your system. You're thirsty. You need to be quench that thirst. And there's really nobody is saying oh, too much water is bad, or you shouldn't drink this much water. No, really, nobody really says that. Obviously, you don't drink so much that you and then don't urinate, because I believe somebody tried doing that and they wound up dying because they tried to hold in their urine and they ended up dying. Don't do that. Drink water, and then when you have to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. But I bring up water because it's in the news lately, and not in the way you might think. If you're my age, or maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit younger, you would have been familiar with a teen star back in the day, a High School Musical star, Vanessa Hudgens, being the the love interest to Zac Efron's Troy at East High. Gabriella, the song girl, his crush, and throughout the series of High School Musical, and she was a big part of that show, and is an actress today, and is in a couple things, not like super big things, but like in a couple shows. She's on Instagram and TikTok. She's very popular on social media, and she also has this company that's called Cali Water, which is water with adding some cactus to it. I'm not sure exactly what it is. You can look it up. It's in a magazine called Shape. But one of the bigger things that you get out of that article, and it's very, it's kind of small, but it is very prominent in there. And it gets you to look at there, and you're like, oh, well, that's weird. She doesn't like drinking water, like plain water, tap water, whether it be from the actual sink, refrigerator water, bottled water. Not a big fan of it, and why she'd made a flavored, cactus flavored water with like antioxidants and all that good stuff that you can, put in a modified water, to also give you a little bit of a benefit in like the nutrition aspect. It's not just water. But yeah, she's not a big fan of it, and the article went to say that she would, have, collapse from dehydration, a few times because she just doesn't like water. Just sitting here like, wow, I mean, like, she's a celebrity, and I don't know if this is real or not. I don't know, because I've seen people get mad about it online and say, like, oh, she's just a celebrity. They're weird. If we go back a couple episodes ago, I talked about celebrity shower habits. But it's like, it almost feels like she's just saying this to promote her brand of water, of Cali water. I mean, yeah, she's, the article says that she's, collapsed because of dehydration, but I mean, like, she could have made that up and just said, yeah, promoting my Cali water, go buy it right now because I need the money. I'm in both camps here. I can totally see, because she is a celebrity and she might be so, healthy, weird-like and all that. Like, this is what's going to what's going to give me a better glow, what's going to make me look the youngest I could possibly look, without, doing something so ridiculous. Let's make and I don't want to drink water because, peasants drink water, and I'm not a peasant. And I'm not saying that, that I think that, and I'm not saying that she exactly thinks that, but it's on the lines of like, oh, they drink water? I don't want to drink water. And I'm not talking about like an actual, like a real life peasant. I'm saying like a normal person, like me and you probably. Like, she's like, I don't want to be a part of them. I don't want to be associated with those people who drink just plain old water. I don't want to be a part of that. I want to drink cactus water. And you think like, well, why don't you just drink like, get a water bottle and get like a little like a Crystal Light package, and if you want to be even more healthier, maybe a liquid IV package, and get that, and really spruce it up like that. Why does it got to be cactus? And I, to my idiocy, I didn't really finish the article about it because I was just like, wow, this is kind of big. But to believe that she hates water, I kind of believe it, but I also, I kind of don't buy it. I just think that she's just promoting her cactus water to make it so, like, I hated water so much. It was one of my least favorite drinks and tasks to do when I was on set. It was to get a water break because it would make me sad, and I hated it. And when I would ever, water would touch my tongue, I would nearly vomit. So I was on a quest to make the ultimate beverage for myself, so I wouldn't have to throw up anymore to keep myself alive. So I made cactus water. And now my life has changed, and I want to share that with everybody else, and buy it and taste it and see for yourself that it's good, and it gives you all these health benefits and nutrients and vitamins. And I think that might be the route that she might be going for, just because I just don't see how anybody could not like water. I mean, like, unless you're like unless you just, I mean, like, I just don't see how somebody could hate drinking water, especially when you need water. Like, it is like the most refreshing drink you could possibly have. Nothing comes close. Like, when you're, running, jogging, exercising, whatever, and you're sweating, and you're like, you're burning energy, you're burning calories, and you're getting, thirsty, not dehydrated yet, but you're getting very, very thirsty. That water, as plain as it may be, is one of the best tasting, the best, like, just in the way your body responds to it, feels that you could ever have. And even if, like, I mean, you could survive like weeks without food. Like, I think 2 weeks without food. You only survive a couple days without water. Like, maybe 3 days, maybe 2. I'm not even sure the exact amount of days you can survive without water. But your body needs that more than anything in the world. Now, again, credit to her for, being an entrepreneur and actually making this cactus water. I might have actually tried it if I didn't, like, think that. But, I just feel like she's making it because, or making the story that she hates water so much just to sell the cactus water. I don't know. I could be wrong. Like, I just, it feels like it's just kind of like she's gonna be in a magazine, and we haven't really talked about Vanessa Hudgens in a minute, and I say that as like not a minute. It's been a while. I mean, since High School Musical, like again, big on social media and but not really like where an actress would want to be, I think. And it's not to say that she's had a shitty career. No, she's to me, she's still Gabriella. She's still very likable. She looks like a very nice person. I just feel like that this is like kind of like stretching it out a little bit. Like she would go to the and actually say in the article that she would actually dehydrate herself because she hated drinking water that much. I don't know. I just feel like that's stretching it out into Fantasyland a bit. Like, calm down, calm your jets. I think that's just kind of silly there. Doesn't really make all that much sense if you ask me. But what do I know? I drink water. I am right now out of my Hydro Flask. To be honest with you, and I'll be completely honest with you. For the longest time, I went without getting a Hydro Flask. I actually grew hatred for the brand because how many people had that one brand of water jug, water bottle, whatever it may be. I just hated it. I hated looking at that logo, the Hydro Flask. Everybody walking around with like a giant tin of water, and it made me salty. It made me very hateful. I mean, I guess dislikeful to the people that had these water bottles. Like it's almost like they had their own class system. Like they're like, hey, I drink water and I drink it in this. What are you drinking out of? A plastic bottle, a cup, a non-Hydro Flask bottle? You peasant. Like, I feel like if you walk around with any other water bottle brand other than Hydro Flask, you're looked at in a mean way. Like, what are you doing? Can you not? You can't afford Hydro Flask. You got that, whatever that is, that off-branded metal. What is it even made of? Aluminum? Is that clean metal? Is that BPA free or whatever? I don't even know what BPA is, to be honest with you. But, they always have to have that on, like, the label or something, or whenever they sell it on the tag BPA free. Don't know what that is, though. I have no idea. I'm assuming it's a good thing to have it, not in the bottle or in the cup or whatever. But I was, before I got this, when I would do the podcast, I would have another one. I would have either my Fresno State one, which was like a very cheap one, which, was fine. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Or I had like a Yeti mug, not a mug. What is it called? The brand was Yeti, but it was a tumbler, like a coffee mug, but it's like insulated. It's got a little, cap that you can take off, like a Starbucks coffee lid type of thing. It's like more for drinking hot beverages in it, but you can drink like whatever beverage you want in it. But I would have that when I would record the podcast. I would, have my Fresno State one. And then last Christmas, I got a 20-ounce one, which, a 20-ounce Hydro Flask. I now have a 32-ounce flask. But, it's great, though. I enjoy it. I have been sucked in. I have become one of the elite with Hydro Flask. I now drink out of it, every day. Walk around with it every day. Take it with me everywhere I go, just to stay hydrated, because that is a big part of being healthy and being a person. And Vanessa Hudgens, your cactus water, well, it may be good. It doesn't make me feel like I deserve it. I feel like I got to be living in Calabasas to drink your cactus water. Because you hate water so much. Well, and by the way, people, if you have a house and all that, and if you're able to find a fountain, whether it be at a library, a stadium, a parking lot, a store, the water there is usually free. So, I don't know, maybe think about it. Do I really want to spend, X amount of dollars on the cactus water by Vanessa Hudgens and then feel fancy a bit, or feel like I can sing in High School Musical? Or do I want to just get a little bit of water from my faucet or my refrigerator and, drink that all day for free? I don't know. But if it makes me sing like Gabriella from High School Musical, I might have to try it. Just to see if I could sing We're All in This Together, just like her. I think that'd be, like, market it like that. Do you want to sing like me? Lubricate those vocal cords and, like, sound like Gabriella from High School Musical? And do you want to sing We're All in This Together like Gabriella? Buy cactus water. That will make me buy it. And anybody who was a fan of High School Musical back in the day, it would make us buy it. And again, not to diss Vanessa Hudgens' career. Kudos to you, you're making a lot of money. But all I remember you is from High School Musical. And that just might be because I haven't seen the shit that you're in. But that's just my, where I stand out in the ecosystem of fandom of yourself. Moving on. I've this is not about water or Vanessa Hudgens per se, but I was doing some yard work a couple weeks ago, and this just popped into my head of how much I am a big baby, or a wimp, I guess you could say, to birds. Like, we have like a blue jay in our yard that just kind of like, fucks around and does his thing there. I was weed eating like a while ago, even before this, but like I would weed eat like a side of the house that would have weeds. And then after you do that, you see like a bunch of bugs that come out of the surface of the ground and try to, like gasp for air. Like after I just weed eated the entire place, and it was just full of like bugs, like beetles and all that. Nothing too weird. I mean, I do live in California. There's no brown recluses or anything like that. I'm not in Australia. But again, this blue jay would just kind of pop around and just be poaching all these bugs out of the ground. And it was weird because he had like no fear of me. Like, I'd be doing stuff, I'd be doing other things like next to him. He wouldn't even move. Wouldn't even like do anything. And I'd almost be afraid because like, what if he's like one of those birds that is like fearless, like they know their territory, they have no fear of you. They can just like kind of like run at you a bit, like charge at you, like not even like, that menacingly, but just charge at you a bit and be like, oh yeah, he's gonna back off. He's a wimp. But I'm like that with birds. Like I just see videos of like even like ducks like charging at people, and like other birds just like they're kind of pesty, man. They're not like in my eyes. I'm like, a bird, get that fucker away from me. With all birds too, like, I mean, like, just like, I don't know. I just don't get a good vibe from a bird. I don't see them as cuddly or friendly, or like maybe a parrot, maybe a raven, if you're a pirate. But like, I don't really see them as like companions, really. Like, they're just kind of like pesty, and they'll peck at you with their beak and all that. Like, that could hurt you a lot. I mean, a woodpecker fucking breaks wood with its damn beak. What could it do to your skin? I mean, that'd be a bad thing too. I mean, I know that like eagles don't really like kill people, but they got like large talons that they can just like, if they wanted to, they could probably like clutch your fucking scalp and like you'd be bleeding to death. I saw like, I think it was on like it was Thursday Night Football when the Rams were playing the Seahawks, and like the Seahawk, the mascot in Seattle, got loose and was like scratching a dude's dome. I was like, oh my god, that thing that's like a hunting bird. Like, he thinks that that his head is food or something. Like, I was just like, what is this? And it brings me back to why I brought up birds. Like, I looked up this bird. I saw it on a video on YouTube. And they were talking about this bird, and it was a bird that I've never even heard of before. It's called a cassowary. It's like this gigantic bird. It's not that gigantic. It's like the third biggest bird in the world, behind the ostrich and the emu. And it's got feathers, but it can't fly. It's one of those birds. It's like, okay, like, you're basically still a dinosaur. You're not really a bird. You're like in between. Like, you're kind of a bird, but you got more dinosaur in you than bird. So I saw it, and like, immediately I go to, whenever I see a bird, whether it be a chicken or an ostrich or a rooster, whatever, any bird, I automatically look at their legs and their feet and their talons, claws or whatever. And this bird, I swear to God, stands like, I think 5 feet tall. But the legs are are thicker and like just like scalier, and they look just like a damn like a dinosaur's foot. I swear to God, like more than like ever that any bird that I've ever seen. These birds' feet look like just like a replica of what a dinosaur's foot would look like today. And when I saw it, I was just like, oh my God, this is a modern day dinosaur. Not only because of that, but they had the talons on their feet, or if you don't know what that is, it's basically their claws on their feet. I think they were like maybe 5 inches long. And I was thinking like, oh my God, like, do these things, I Googled, like, have these things killed anybody? And I think that they've killed 2 people. And the way that they do that is that they will charge you and like just fling their feet, forward into your chest, and they can actually puncture your chest with again their 5-inch talons, and I'm just like, bro, this is like a velociraptor. Like this thing is dangerous, and luckily they live in Australia, which I probably will never go to, and if I do, I'm not going anywhere around a cassowary because these motherfuckers, you look at them. I mean, I'm telling you, Google it right now, cassowary, Cassowary. It looks like a fucking dinosaur. I'm not even joking. If you have the time, do it now. But yeah, I just think to myself, like, bro, imagine like if there was a lot of those like everywhere, like in the U.S. and in Canada, in like places like not like Australia where like you cannot go to certain places because there is wildlife there that will absolutely tear your fucking head off or poison you to death. Like, you can't go that far out of Australia and not see like a spider or a snake or even like a kangaroo within like a few miles away from a city. Like, my dad went to Australia way back a few years ago, went to like Melbourne and shit like that for work. And he just remembered like seeing like kangaroos are abundant, and like there's spiders and snakes all over the place, lizards and like critters like that. And I'm like, yo, like right now I've been having a lizard problem as well, and like seeing like lizards in my garage, in my backyard. I'm like, what the fuck are all these motherfuckers doing here? Like, and I was saying like maybe it's because it's so dry lately in California. It feels like a desert, and like that's why there's so many. I'm not sure why, but I read like somewhere, like I saw like a video, like I think it was a guy in Australia. He like captured a couple lizards and put them in his house. And I think what happened was like he noticed that there were less bugs and pests, like like actual like bugs and spiders, less bugs and spiders with lizards in his house than without them. So they have a purpose. I mean, like a spider kills flies and all that, and like a fly, it kills gnats and flies like that. They kill bugs. So every animal has got a purpose. I'm sure a cassowary has a purpose too. I'm not aware of it. It just seems like a dinosaur to me. Like I've seen it like just walk, and every bird, till this day, just reminds me of a dinosaur. Look at a bird, look how it walks. And then go watch Jurassic Park. And then you'll see like, oh shit, like these motherfuckers. And when you look at a cassowary, you're like, yo, that's more, like I said before, that's more dinosaur than bird. So, I mean, like unless you want to call birds dinosaurs, like, I don't think you're still going to call it a bird, right? Like any bird, you're going to just say that's a bird. You're not going to say, well, actually, that's a dinosaur. That's not a bird. Like, nobody's going to say that today. But just looking at it, you can't fly. It's very, you can't even see its fucking wings, really. It's just like a body, legs, and a head. You can't even see its damn wings, or I don't even know what you call it, arms, I guess. But yeah, definitely more dinosaur than bird, for sure. But speaking of dinosaurs, I recently been rewatching all the Jurassic Parks. They're on HBO Max, 1 through 3. 1, Lost World, 3, and then I think World I own, so I just watched that on my computer. But I every movie is good in its own way. One's obviously nostalgic. It's cool. It's got that sense of wonder, discovery, and like, oh my god, we actually created dinosaurs. Like, this is what they might look like. But then you're like, oh, wait a minute. But John Hammond made them in the way that he wanted to make them. Manipulating their DNA, and then it's just like there's so many lines when you watch Jurassic Park nowadays. When you watch it as a kid and you watch it now, like, oh my god, there's actually like so much shit that I missed as a kid. Like when they're like watching the raptors being born out of their eggs or hatching out of their eggs. And you, like, Ian Malcolm's like, so what do you, how do you, who's giving birth or what's happening? Like, oh, no, we make them in the lab, and, like, and they can't breed because we made them all female. So, yeah, that's never going to happen. Like, they can't breed. Like, he's like, well, what if they start to breed like that? And what if they, what if they escape? And they're like, oh, yeah, well, we designed them to, like, if they don't go without this enzyme that we feed them every day, they'll just, drop dead and, drop dead. And it's like, oh shit, like that. Like, I know it's like fake, it's a movie, it's fake. But that kind of does bring in, it does, like, it feels like this is exactly something that we would do if we were to bring back an extinct animal. Like, if we wanted to say, like, you know what, it's not a natural anymore. We own the animal because we made it, so it doesn't have rights, so we can do whatever we want with it. And they kind of dive into that. They touch up on that a bit in that movie too. Then they bring it to the Lost World, where you have to go back to the island that is, creating all the dinosaurs, then shipping them over to the Jurassic Park in Isla Nublar. And then you get that, you get fucking the Ian Malcolm movie, you get the camera guy, the baby T-Rex, you get the Velociraptor chase in the woods, and then you get the San Diego incident, and it's like, okay, well, everybody's like, we should stop making dinosaurs now. Like, we got to stop trying this park thing and stop making them, because it's just going to end up bad every time. People will die, and it's just going to happen in a more gruesome way if we allow it to get more, out of control. And then you move on to 3, and then World, where it's like, okay, we're going to do the Jurassic Park thing again, but we made it a park, and then more people will die again. But I touched on 3. And, before I get to 3, but let's just go through World. The guy who wants to make the raptors into a weapon, like, we can use these into our boar. You know how many people will save lives if we use these into our boar? Imagine that thing running across the desert into a foxhole and killing everything in that foxhole. I mean, it's very cool, but it's also very cheesy and stupid at the same time, which I enjoy as a movie, man. I like that as a movie, but you watch it again, you kind of think about it too much, you're like, no, this is stupid as shit. But anyway, back to 3. Now, 3 is interesting. I've been talking about this with my brother and my friends a couple days ago, and they've all kind of, like, realized that, hey, this is like a big, like, nagging thing at the plot, because this movie is actually, Jurassic Park 3 is really, really bad. Like, really bad. Now, if you remember, what happens is, it's the return of Dr. Grant, and if you were wondering where he is, he's just kind of staying away from the island, doesn't even want to be a part of it, doesn't want to do anything with Jurassic Park anymore. And he's like, you know what, I'm not going to go there. I won't go back to that island. I won't even step foot on it, because you can't pay me enough money for me to go back on that island. He's very committed to that. And then we get the biggest, stupidest plot of every fucking... This entire franchise, including Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which I haven't watched yet. Rewatch, sorry. I've seen it in the theaters, but I don't remember much. But it's the plot of this guy, Mr. Kirby. Paul Kirby in this movie is an absolute, one of the worst written villains, I guess you could say. Villain, anti-hero, manipulator, shitty person of all time, because this man goes up to Dr. Grant and cons this man, Dr. Grant, a smart fella, you would think, into going to an island that he's never even been to, and absolutely bamboozling him and Billy and 3 other people to take him and his wife to go find their son that went on a fucking stupid trip to the island to go parasailing to see dinosaurs from the ocean. And then they get fucking lost. The boat goes down. They parachute to the island and then get lost. But here's the thing, though. This guy, Paul Kirby, Mr. Kirby, is like going around like, hey, I got some money. I'm a very rich guy. I can write any number on this check and I'll give it to you if you just come to the island to show me around. Because that's what he's doing. He's saying, like, come to the island, show me around, and I'll pay you this much money. Not to come rescue my son, not to come help me look for my the stepdad or whatever. Just come and show me the island. We're gonna fly super low and we're gonna look at the island. Just come here. And he's like, I'm gonna pay you whatever you want. And they get to the island, shit goes bad, 3 people die, 2 people die before this, and then he absolutely just comes out and says, or gets caught actually lying. He's like, who are you actually? Well, he's like, well, I'm Paul Kirby. I have this Kirby Enterprises. Like, and Dr. Grant's like, well, is there really a Kirby Enterprises? He's like, no, I'm sorry, it's Kirby Paint and Tile. I run a hardware store. I'm like, oh my God. Now, as a kid, I didn't pay attention to that shit at all. But I watched it recently. I'm like, this motherfucker just conned Dr. Grant and everybody else who we got killed on this island to go there. And he killed 3 people, essentially. He did. He got them to go and conned them all. And now 3 people are dead. Dr. Grant is fucking injured. Billy's injured. They got their son back, yes. The plane is gone. But now he's like, how is this motherfucker not being sued for everything that he's done in this fucking movie? Like, how the fuck can Dr. Grant smile at this man and be like, yeah, we got out of it free. Yeah, I'll see you later, man. I got a couple scars and bruises and a couple jump scares there. I almost died a couple times, but we're good. No, motherfucker. He lied. He lied about paying you money. He lied about you. About paying you money. Like, it is one of the biggest, stupidest plots in any movie that I've ever seen. And I just was like, damn, I remember like this movie wasn't as good as I remembered, but man, does it seem so stupid nowadays. Like, just so stupid. And I just can't help but saying, like, yeah, this one is definitely the worst one ever. Like, just all-time worst Jurassic Park ever. Just terrible. I mean, I can't even, like, World is dumb. World is very franchisey and big, money, marketing and all that. And like, you can tell that they just made it a gigantic modern-day franchise. But this movie is just so stupid. Everything about it is... And also, in order to get saved, fucking Ellie from the first movie has to call in the goddamn Navy, or the U.S. government, to go save their asses. So, how much money is fucking Mr. Kirby in debt on now? He's got to be in debt on millions. Like, multi-million. Because without any of this, they wouldn't have had to call the Navy and have 3 people fucking killed just to find their fucking son, who was already gone for 8 weeks. Like, I mean, if you're going to be lost on a island with dinosaurs, I mean, he's probably already dead. I mean, that's your fault. That's just, the whole thing is bad parenting, really, if you think about it. Mr. Kirby, Mrs. Kirby, I mean, Ellie's a mom in this, but she did the good thing. She called the Navy and was like, yo, get to this fucking island now because there's fucking dinosaurs after them and they ain't got no place to go. I mean, all in all, just a stupid fucking movie. And I couldn't believe watching it. Like, this is the plot of it? I don't even remember this at all. Like, it's just... First of all, you get this new motherfucker, Spinosaurus. Like, he's like, who the fuck are you? Who made you? Who even made you? And, like, he walks in, thinks he's all big and bad, and is just mad for some reason. Like, why the fuck is Spinosaurus, like, this much of a dick? Like, why did he just come and fucking kill, like, everybody on that fucking plane for no fucking reason? He's not like an Indominus Rex with, like, fucking super aggressive fucking genomes or whatever that are in his DNA. I mean, they could be, but you don't know. Why is he so fucking mad? And he fucking, on top of that, kills my beloved T-Rex, like, within 5 seconds. Is like, what the fuck was that shit for? Like, how many hearts of the children that were broken that day who grew up loving that fucking T-Rex and the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, to see this bum-ass Spinosaurus just fucking snap his neck like a coward and just, like, move on. Like, oh, and T-Rex was just eating a dead dinosaur right there. He was just having a meal, and then because of Mr. Kirby, he was interrupted by Alan Grant and Mr. Kirby, and was killed because of Mr. Kirby. I mean, it's Kirby's fault. It seems like a little bit of an overreaction. I understand that, but having a man of my age rewatch a movie that is made for kids, that was made that came out in 2001, that is very, very stupid, and then you watch it with a logical, glasses on, and you're like, this all could have been prevented. It's Kirby's fault. It's all Kirby's fault. Folks, if you don't remember it, if you don't remember Jurassic Park 3 and you're like, maybe I should rewatch it, maybe it will be cool. I remember that it was kind of cool. And don't. It might be for the best if you just, laid low and just didn't watch it. Because it is, like, it's very short, too. It's 90 minutes flat, I believe, or 92 minutes. So it's big old red flags. They're like, oh, should this even been released in theaters back in the day? Like, this is kind of... half-assing it, like, oh, whatever. But like, yeah, I mean, just very, very stupid, very stupid. Moving on. Let's get into video games here. I've talked about them quite a bit, and I know we're still in this lull of, new games coming out, but, which they are not going to be out for like another month still. But, there is one game that I'm really looking forward to, and that's, it might not be what you're thinking. It's not a shooter. It's not like an RPG. I'm going old school here, people. I'm going back to Nintendo days. The new, Mario Party Superstars is coming out, and I can't wait because I'm a big fan of Mario Party, man. Like, I love the fact that it's like a board game, and it's like, there's turns, you roll the dice. And then, by the way, I've always been a big fan of Mario Party, ever since Mario Party 2. And even 1 before that. I played the first one way back in the day on the N64. But I enjoy those games, but the big thing about this one is it's going to be with the new graphics and, obviously on the Switch, but it's going to have the older games on it, meaning boards from Mario Party 2 all the way up to, like, I think 6, minigames from that era as well, and just put into modern-day Switch graphics and all that. It's going to be online play with your friends and anybody, random people. It's what I've always wanted from Mario Party, because the new one that they had, Super Mario Party, was amazing. I'll give it that. It was amazing, but it didn't have an online feature, which I thought would have been awesome in modern-day gaming, to have a feature that you can play Mario Party online. This one's going to have it for the first time ever, so I'm really looking forward to it. This is going to be awesome. And I know that people are going to be like, well, it's just like a reskin and a rehash of those old Mario Party games. But dude, it's like playing Monopoly all the time. Monopoly is always fun, right? Sorry is fun. Candyland is fun. Mario Party is always fun. It's always fun, man. It's just a fun time. It's competitive. It's very childish, but it's it's just got that nice playful fun in it. It's just really fun. And I think that if my friends were able to get this, because some of them have Switches, some have Switch Lites, which this game is compatible with all Switches. Thank God for online play as well. This is going to be a fun game to play. Whether you're doing it on one TV, online, this is going to be fun as hell, because I have to say the old Mario parties, even the newest one, before that 8, I think it was 8, maybe 9. The most recent ones before the last one that they made had good mini games, and then it kind of went to a drought a bit with the ones before that. I think it was 8 and 7 or 9 and 8. I think they were on the Wii and the Wii U. Those ones weren't very good, but the ones on the N64 and the GameCube, my God, those had some amazing mini games back in the day, because we would just play the Mario Party 2 all day long, man, all night long. That shit was so much fun. I'm always in the mood to go 50 turns on those games, just because of the marathon of that game, and just how like the strategies and the playthroughs that you can do, and like the memories that you can make, and the runs that you can go on. It's a really, really fun game, and I just can't wait for the new one to come out, to be able to play, finally to be able to play online with your friends. If you can't, gather together to play it. Anyway, that's I believe that's coming out on October 29th. So be on the lookout for that. And if you're a Switch guy, if you're a Switch fan, and if you're an old school Mario Party fan, this is going to be a great pickup for you, I think. All right, moving on to another game that just got updated. Warzone. Warzone's back in the news. Back in the cycle of updates to a season. They do these seasons with battle passes and all that, which I'm a fan of. I enjoy it, but I'm not looking to a season, and it's like a thing that you look forward to after you've already bought the game, after like a year and a half or a year, and like, okay, like, what's the new season? What's coming out now? Like, how are we gonna do this, or is it gonna be worth it? I've been buying every season because I've been earning the points. I don't actually buy the credits. I just earn them through playing the game. So, anyway, the new season just came out a couple days ago, and I before it did come out, I reached the max tier on the battle pass, and I was just absolutely pooped on the game after that. I didn't want to play it anymore. I was kind of bored of it. I was like having a rough patch of games where I would just be sucking and getting killed all the time, and not doing any contributions to my team in Warzone. But I was like, I'm going to give it a break, and that was right before the Battlefield 2042 beta was going to come out, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a break from this. I'll play Battlefield, and I'm not going to touch COD for like this entire weekend. I go back to it, I'm not feeling the same way. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like this season is just like, because it is the season before Vanguard comes out, so it's like it feels a little bit like the at least with like the weapons on the ground, they feel good, but the season tiers feel pretty cheap to me, to be honest with you. Aside from the new Vanguard guns that they've come out with that have been implemented into the tiers, those are pretty good, but like besides that, the season is just kind of weak for me. I think that the modifications to the map are okay. They're not the best, but it's just like I've now like, and I know like weeks before I was just saying that I was not tired of Warzone, but I think now at the tail end of this map of this map's lifespan, after what they could have done everything that they wanted to this map, after they've done everything that they've done to this map, it's now come to like I'm no longer interested in playing Warzone on Verdansk. I'm not entertained. Now that could change in a couple days, couple weeks if I'm just bored and I just want to play with my friends, and if I actually start doing good or stuff like that. It all really depends on how I'm feeling. Like there's sometimes I just don't want to play on that map anymore. It just like recently I don't want to play on it because it just feels old now. I just don't like looking at it. It's been so long being on that map, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I don't need to play it. I'll wait for the new map. That'll be coming out later this year. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. The way that Mason looks in this season 2, because this is going to be the return of Mason, the character Mason. If you don't know, back in the day, the first Black Ops that ever came out back in 2011, 2010, I think. It was voiced by, at that time, hit actor Sam Worthington, who was Jake Sully in Avatar. He was in what was that movie called about the oh god, I'm blanking on it. It's a classic movie about like Roman warriors or Greek warriors. What is it called? Clash of the Titans. He's in Clash of the Titans, the newer one. And he's also in the Terminator Salvation movie, which you probably have never seen. But yeah, he's in that too. But he was a great character, voice character for Mason. He was like, oh, they're actually going to get actors in this movie or this game. That's sick as fuck. And that was after Avatar and all that. So it's like, this is a big time celebrity. But they came out with this new Mason with a new voice and the new look, and he's like, they can't really use Sam Worthington's likeness or his look-alike or whatever to make the character anymore. So it's like, it looks like absolute dog shit in my eyes. And to my brother, who's a big fan of Black Ops as well, he didn't like it. I was like, bro, what did they do to your boy Mason? He's like, Sam Worthington's not in it, so they can't really use his model anymore. Like, oh god, that sucks. So I mean, I think everybody really thinks that the character model for Mason is just kind of stupid. So that also kind of like, hurts the impact of the season. I think everybody who was working on Call of Duty knows that we all like the Sam Worthington Mason. Like they know that he's not a part of the game, so they're like, well, motherfuckers, we can't get him back. We're just gonna have to deal with it. But that's just us. That's just the fans who were so loyal back in the day, who liked Sam Worthington as Mason, and are just like, it's our fault. We can't hinder on it. It does feel like, though, it's like I've said it before, but it feels like a half-assed season to me. But that's just because they're about to release a new game, so like I can kind of let this one slide, because after this one we will have Vanguard, and they should be ramping up their Battle Pass content better and have more better content. So like we'll see how it goes. But I'm not a huge fan of it as of right now. But that's also a part of because I'm just kind of tired of Warzone. I know I've been preaching it a couple times on this podcast, but like right now I'm just not feeling it. But it could always turn better. I could have like an amazing game and play very well and get a win. Like we even got a win one time, and I'm just still like, whatever. I mean, we'll move on. We're gonna get a new game soon, and it's gonna be different. It's gonna be hopefully better than Black Ops and even better than Modern Warfare. I hope. Like I want every Call of Duty game to be better than the last one. When Modern Warfare came out, I'm like, oh, this is so good. And then Black Ops came out, and I'm like, this is shit. I'm like, this doesn't feel new or better. It feels worse. So I'm looking forward to it to be better and not to be worse. That's all I want. Is I want the games to keep improving. Gameplay, movement, gunplay, feel, immersion. I want them to keep improving on that, so that I feel like I'm actually spending money, because you are still spending money on a $60 game, $70 game when it comes out. You know, even though that you do pay for the battle pass, to get it, if you choose to do that, you do, and you pay for cosmetics, packs, or whatever, you can still, you still spend money on that. But even still, just buying the base game for $60, $70, I want to have something that I feel like is worth it. And if I look at it, I'm like, oh, this kind of feels like shit, I'm gonna have that bad taste in my mouth. Like, really? I just feel cheated. Anyway, that was video games. Now we're moving on to everybody's favorite segment. Sports are back. And last week was the beginning of the NLDS between the Giants and the Dodgers. We lost that game pretty pathetically, 4-0. And a lot has happened since I've been on the air, since I've been recording. We are now tied with the Giants in the series, 2-2, heading back to San Francisco to play Game 5. Later, it's going to be tonight. Game 5 on the line, we got Julio Urias versus Logan Webb as the starting pitchers. I'm excited, but I'm also very concerned still, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I want to say you're welcome, Rob Manfred, and all of the world of baseball. You wouldn't have it any other way than Dodgers-Giants going to a final Game 5 to decide who goes to the NLCS. You're welcome, Rob Manfred. Like I said, this is good for baseball. Very, very good for baseball. Now, this series has not gone the way that I wanted it to. I would rather sweep these fuckers, but we didn't. So now we're here at a Game 5 tonight. But I'm nervous. Why? Because this series has been the tale of two Dodger teams, and I don't like it, because we get a team that can score 9 runs and hit and have competitive at bats and get walks and not chase. By meaning that I'm saying, like, not swinging at balls that are out of the strike zone, playing well, locked in. Everybody's hitting, very motivated and all that, and feeling confident against the pitcher. On the other hand, we got another team that chases everything, takes bad at bats, just the pitcher breezes through the lineup. We don't get enough fucking at bats for some players. Nobody gets in a groove. People chase everything. These some fuckers are hitting balls that are hitting the goddamn dirt, and they're swinging at that. Not hitting, but they're swinging at it. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you go from being poised and composed and locked into just doing boneheaded swings at boneheaded pitches that you shouldn't even be fucking swinging at, and everybody's just laughing at us because I'm laughing at it because it's just so pathetic to see how we just go from one night to another just like that. So I hope that with Julio on the mound, that we can, it being a winner go home, do or die situation, that we can actually pull through and actually be competitive. Because again, the 2 games that we lost, Game 1 and Game 3, absolutely uncompetitive at all. Just an absolute joke. I don't see anything in those performances where I'm like, oh yeah, we deserve to go on. We deserve to go on and play the Braves in the NLCS. I don't see it. And it's like we've reverted back to living and dying off the home run. I don't want that. We cannot keep doing that. That is so that is such a bad way to think about it, and such a bad way to approach it. Like, oh yeah, we'll be good. Yeah, we can hit the home run. Yeah, that's fine. We'll rely on the home run. We don't got to worry about getting people on base. It's like, no. This is modern day baseball. Remember at the beginning of the year? At the beginning of the season when I was but I saw an article about like them deadening the balls a bit so they wouldn't fucking fly out so much. Trying to fucking lower the amounts of home runs. This is probably what's happening now. Because okay, the game on the Game 3, windy as shit, right? We lost 1-0. I mean, there were so many hits in that game where I thought that we would have tied it, taken the lead. It felt like there was just so many more. I just felt like that game we should have been winning more than the Giants were, because we were just, Max Scherzer was dominating them, like, for the most part. He was locked in. He allowed one run off of Evan Longoria, which was, why did that one go out, and why did Chris Taylor stay in? Why did Gavin Lux stay in? I just don't get it. It was just like, it felt like the entire universe was against the Dodgers that night. Like, I mean, okay, game 1 was an absolute farce. The wind wasn't not that big of an issue there, but game 3, when it was just swirling wind and nobody could hit shit, and it was dusty and like gusts of 40-mile-per-hour winds, I get that. I understand that. But come on, how could not one of our big hits even get out of the damn stadium? But their one did. It just felt like everything was against us. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We will be playing the Braves if we do make it tonight. If we don't, we'll be sent packing home, and that'll be the end of the Dodgers talk this year. But I'm excited. Tonight's gonna be hopefully a good night. Hopefully I'm happy by the end of the night. I'm not gonna be watching the football game because Dodgers come first over football. I'm sorry, I will say it. I know that I love football, but if my Dodgers are playing, I'm gonna be watching them before any football game, even a Rams game at this point. It's October baseball. We love it, and let's just cherish it. Again, tonight is Game 5, Dodgers and the Giants in San Francisco at Oracle Park in the NLDS. Again, you're welcome, Rob Manfred. A little bit more baseball to cover. The Red Sox beat the Rays. They're moving on to the ALCS. The Braves beat the Milwaukee Brewers. They're going on to the NLCS. We will be facing them if we win tonight. And then maybe one of the worst things to come out of baseball this year is that the Houston Astros, are back in the ALCS, and they will be taking on the Red Sox to go to the World Series. Now, I know I shouldn't sound this salty, but at this point in time, when you even, like, I know that they probably, I'm going to say this right now, they probably aren't cheating. If they are, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going to say that they probably aren't cheating, right? They're probably actually playing legit baseball, fair baseball, not cheating, right? They're probably playing with good intentions. They're not using the fucking trash cans or the buzzers. I'm pretty sure that this year they're not. I can't confirm it, but I think that they're not. I would hope that they aren't, because, I mean, if they are again, we got a big problem on our hands. But I'm going to say for right now, they're not cheating, but they destroyed the White Sox in this series. I mean, my God. They won 10-1 in the final game. I mean, not the final game, but the game 4 in Chicago. Their lineup looked amazing. I mean, Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley, Alex Bregman. I'm scared because I know that Houston Astros lineup just hits anything. I mean, if I could wish anything on for the Dodgers is, like, please, without cheating, hit the ball and take at-bats like the Houston Astros, because they have the most competitive at-bats maybe in the entire league. Maybe. Like, they always go up not even thinking about, like, they're going to strike out, pop up. They're thinking about, let's just get on fucking base. Let's make some good contact with the ball. Let's put the ball in play, and let's actually, be good at baseball and good at hitting baseball, or the baseball. I just wish that I'm cheering on the Red Sox because I don't want them to. I don't want them to lose to the Astros, please. I also don't want to face the Red Sox either because of Mookie Betts being on the Red Sox, and when we were last in the World Series, or not last, but when we were in the World Series, we also did lose to the Red Sox. To the Red Sox at Dodger Stadium. with back in the day with Yasiel Puig and all that, and that was just also bad memories. I mean, but it was like we lost 4-1. I think I believe it was 4-1. We won one game, and it was super embarrassing. But I just want to beat any team, man. Like I feel like I'm psyching myself up for this because this is what I always do with baseball. I always feel like it's such a superstitious sport. Like if we play the Giants, like that's bad juju. If we play the Astros, it's also bad juju. We have to play the Braves. If we win tonight, we have to play the Braves. They have Jock Peterson on their team. He's been tearing it up for them. He used to play for us. So that's going to be like, what if he's got some extra motivation to beat us? And it's like, oh my God, man. It's just, there's so many factors against the Dodgers right now in this position that it's just not going to be a good postseason for me. Emotionally, stress levels are not going to be good for me. Win or lose, it's just not going to be good. It's almost like I kind of want to avoid watching the games because I know that I'm going to have a bad time because we probably won't score. And if we do score, I'll still be fucking stressing out like we got to get out of this inning. We got to be careful with our pitches, careful with our fielding. It's just watching this team is so stressful, especially in the postseason. Like I know we're good. I know we are good. We're a good team. If we're not a good team, we're one of the best teams. We just have to get over these humps of being shit and being inconsistent and reverting back to the ways that we were. We got to hit the ball. We got to stay competitive. Right. We have to have competitive at-bats. I'm just terrified, man. I'm terrified. I don't want us to lose these games. And in the fashion that we do, because whenever I see us get shut out, get blanked, not be competitive at the plate, I'm just like, oh, here we go again. It's because I've been watching this team since 2009, when I've really been a real, like, legitimate fan. Back in 2009, 2010, I think, when I really became a real fan, because I was always a fan back then, but I was also playing Little League, and I was like, oh, I'm an A's fan because I'm on the A's team, or I'm an Angels fan because I'm on the Angels team, like that kind of fandom. Like, you don't really become a true fan of like sports, I think, like until you get to high school, I think. I mean, you can be, but I feel like in my story, in my case, in my mindset, it was always like, it was in high school for me, and I was like, again, I've seen this team excel, but I've also seen them at their worst, and I just know that at their worst is it's not completely gone. Like it can come. They have the ability to revert back to that, and it's just not a good thing. So, I mean, with that being said, let's move on to the NFL, where I'm not as stressed out, and I'm not as mad or confused or, anxious about the result of a game. Like, yes, I do want the Rams to win every game, but right now we're in postseason baseball, man. I want to win another World Series. I want to. It's what I care about right now. I mean, it's all I care about right now. I want to see us win another World Series. If we can do it at Dodger Stadium, God, that would be so amazing. God, that would make me. I would just be so happy. Anyway, let's move on to the NFL. Talk about a couple games. Maybe not every game, but we'll see how it goes. A few games that caught my mind that, kind of putting some other teams up for notice, and some maybe fraud teams. We're now 5 weeks into the season now, so we can kind of get a better judgment of how the teams are going to be going and what's going to be happening, throughout the middle of the season, because we are approaching mid-season. Now I know that we have 17 weeks this year, or 17 games of football, but we're approaching the midway week. We're not there yet, but we're getting close. And can you believe it? We're already approaching mid-football season. I mean, it's going by fast, man. Going by fast. And, before we get into that, the stake of my fantasy team is absolute dog shit. Like I said, fantasy football is all about luck. It's all about who can perform when and who can do the good thing when, and what players are going to be actually doing their job and what teams, what players aren't. Matthew Stafford didn't really do his job all that well this past week. In terms of fantasy football, they won the game, but fantasy-wise, not very good. This week, finally, though, Arthur Smith woke up and actually used Kyle Pitts, and he scored like 20-something points for me. He actually did very well. He had 119 yards, a touchdown. It was amazing. I was like sitting to myself like, I didn't even watch the game because it was in London. It was like at 6 a.m. On the West Coast. I'm like, I ain't going to watch that. So hopefully he balls out. Turns out he did, thank God. Ended up losing the game horrendously. I got to make some trades, some moves. Russell Wilson is out with a broken finger, I think, fractured finger. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just in all kind of stressing out right now because I try not to think about fantasy football that much, but at the end of the day, I still do because, fuck, I want to win, bro. I'm a competitor. I want to win. I want to win this shit. It's annoying. I just, I don't like losing this. I don't want to lose. I just want to win. Anyway, let's go through the scores. Some of the scores of some of the games that stood out to me. The Rams beat the Seahawks 26-17. Good game, Thursday night game. This is where Russell Wilson broke his finger. Geno Smith came into the game. He was actually playing pretty well, but he threw a game-ending pick at the end, and it kind of reverted back to the old Geno Smith. We'll see how that goes. If they keep Geno Smith, if they actually put in Blake Bortles. I think they might go with Geno Smith just because Blake Bortles has been out of the game for a while. We'll see. But, yeah, moving on. Jets lose to the Falcons in London, 27-20. Kyle Pitts did good. Matt Ryan played better. He's on a actually winning path now. He's playing a lot better. Not as didn't seem to be playing like old man Matt Ryan. He's actually kind of throwing the ball better. He underthrows it a couple times, but if he can play more to the tight ends who don't get as wide open as like a wide receiver, maybe that's the way that they go. Because again, the underthrown balls kind of is like an occurring thing that you've been seeing in Matt Ryan's quarterback play. So maybe if they don't try to go for the deep ball as much, maybe they'll be better that way. Packers beat the Bengals 25-22. This game had I think 4 missed field goals by Mason Crosby. Sorry, he missed 4, I think, and they were all very, very bad. It was almost like they didn't want to win the game. It was embarrassing because the Bengals also missed their field goals, and that was just kind of what the fuck is happening here? And again, I think there was a stat that was I think 20 something. The NFL saw 20 something missed field goals, and I just I was wow, that's crazy. But yeah, the Packers won. So yeah, moving on. The Vikings beat the Lions 19-17. Dan Campbell cried at the end at the press conference, which I don't have a problem with because you see a coach cry, that tells me I think that the coach actually cares. He wants to see his team win. They didn't win, but he wants to see them win. And I know you really gotta win in this league to be brought back, to be rehired, to have another chance. And I do still think that he needs to win now. And him crying just shows that he's trying. And as a fan, I'm like, yes, this is what I want to see. But I don't think that the owners or the GM of the Lions, the Fords, want to see him crying. And they think that just fucking win the game. I think that's what they're thinking. Okay, cry, whatever, make headlines, whatever. Fans are going to say what they want to say, but we need you to start winning these games because we have to fucking win. I mean, that's the whole part of, playing these games. You got to play to win. But I have no problem with him crying. I think it shows his passion, that he cares about it. His personality shines. And I think that it's, hopefully that they start to win the games because, they're a team that I look at, I root for Dan Campbell. I really do because I think that he's like the anti-Urban Meyer. This guy cares about his team and his players and his job. And that he really, really, really wants to win. And they just keep getting beat by these stupid late comebacks. And it's just that is a part of the game. You do have to win at the nick of time, at the very, very end of the game. You have to pull out these wins. That you're in the NFL. Any team can beat anybody. I mean, the Vikings are 2-3 now. They've been clawing back. They've been clawing this entire season so far. It seems like to me, they've been at adversity. They've been questioned. They've been are these guys even good? Like, is Kirk Cousins like actually a good quarterback? And in my mind, I actually think that he is good. He just hasn't been winning the games. This game they won. Now they're 2-3. Steelers beat the Broncos 27-19. They've come back to win a game. Sorry. Recently, they still don't look like they're that much of a threat. They could sneak into the playoffs. They could be like the last team in, maybe get a wild card. I'm not sure, but the Broncos kind of have fallen back to earth a bit, kind of like the Raiders in some way. Like they started out 3-0, but now they're like, oh, now we're stumbling a bit. They just, I don't know. I just feel like that they don't really have an identity, an answer yet, and they haven't been playing the best teams yet. So, yeah, that's that. The Dolphins just destroyed the Buccaneers destroyed the Dolphins 45-17. I saw so many people last week take the Dolphins over the Bucs. I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, what shows you that the Buccaneers could actually lose this game to the Dolphins? I saw none of that in this game, and even before that, I'm just like, no, that's just like the Dolphins. They have Jacoby Brissett, yes, who is actually, in my opinion, getting better at quarterback, but he's not there yet. I mean, he's not Tom Brady. Also, Tom Brady, the Buccaneers have just so many weapons, even without Gronkowski. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, even Antonio Brown. They have Antonio Brown. That's their number 3 wide receiver. That's kind of unfair. That's a little overpowered, OP, as people would say. Moving on, the Saints beat the Washington football team 33-22. The Saints look better. The football team still look very bad. Again, Jameis threw a Hail Mary, which should have been intercepted, by the way, but wasn't. So he got a little bit lucky there. That's definitely a Jameis Winston play. Back in the Buccaneers, he would have thrown that and they would have been intercepted. But because he's on the Saints, and the Saints don't really lose that many games in that fashion, and are not a team that is associated with losing and having losing seasons, that was a touchdown. So I don't really credit that to Jameis Winston, but just to the Saints' aura around Jameis Winston, that he can't perform that bad and have that sustaining that bad of a quarterback play with the Saints. It's the universe won't allow that to happen. So that they just made it so Hail Mary. Oh, we got to make sure that the Saints get it and not the football team. So they win that game 33-22. Eagles beat the Panthers 21-18, which is so surprising because the fucking Eagles played like absolute dog shit the first half. I am still not convinced that Jalen Hurts is the guy. I'm just not. But neither am I with Sam Darnold on this Panthers team. I thought he was getting better. I thought that he was... But he wasn't even that good at USC, though. I think Sam Darnold was such a high draft pick for what he was actually worth. It was just like, no matter where this guy goes, I just don't see Sam Darnold being elite. And this might be disrespectful to some people, might be offensive, but he kind of reminds me of like a Jay Cutler type of quarterback who is good in spurts, but at sometimes just he fizzles out in some quarters and some halves and just can't do anything. I don't know what that is or why that is, but I get a lot of that. And I think that's what's going to be happening this season because, look, they started off pretty good. 3-0, I think. I'm pretty sure they've lost 2 in a row. So, I mean, I never really thought that he was going to be the guy. I mean, their team was good, sure, but I don't know if he's going to be the number 1 quarterback. He is their number 1, but I don't think that he's going to be a good elite quarterback. That's just what I think, though. Okay, moving on. The Titans beat the Jaguars 37-19. The Titans, the Jags look competitive in this game. This is the first game after the Urban Meyer incident in his bar with that co-ed. After he apologized and everything, how are they gonna? They seem like they're kind of playing for him, kind of. But they ended up losing to the Titans, who looked better. Derrick Henry enjoyed it. He played well. Trevor Lawrence played decent, but not the most attractive game, in my opinion. Patriots beat the Texans 25-22. Not a very good game either. Kind of boring, honestly. To be honest with you, Mac Jones still does the. He's a very good game manager. If that's what I'm getting out of his performances, he can throw it pretty far, but he's very good at making like mid-range passes, like 5-yard passes, and just kind of dunking it off, getting the yardage, not getting sacked really, not getting injured or not doing anything too reckless. He's good at that too. But the Texans are just very bad. They don't have a quarterback. Remember, Davis Mills is not their guy. Even though he had a good game, 21 for 29 and 3 touchdowns, that team is just not. Even though I think that the Patriots are also bad, I think that the Texans are much, much worse. Moving on. Bears beat the Raiders 20-9 in Las Vegas. Justin Fields actually gets a win. Derek Carr played bad. John Gruden is in the news. If you want to hear about John Gruden in the news for what he has done and why he is no longer the coach of the Raiders, and it's now going to be Rich. I'm going to look it up actually right now because I don't want to mess up his last name because it is. Let's see. I found it right here. Rich. Now let me try to pronounce this. It looks Italian to me. Rich Bisaccia. Rich Bisaccia is his name. It looks he's going to be the interim coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Rich Bisaccia. Now, again, back to what I was saying. If you want to hear about John Gruden, I'm sure you can find many people talking about John Gruden and why he's no longer the coach on ESPN, any other place, but it won't be discussed on this show. But yeah, the Raiders are, as a team, they look like they're going to be either... I think that they can rebound from what happened with John Gruden. I think that they could also implode because I don't know about Rick Bisaccia if he's had head coaching opportunities, if he's ever had coached before. But I'm sure that they'll either one of the two either absolutely collapse or get fired up and actually make a run. But again, you lose to the Bears. It could tell like the game they probably didn't want to play for Gruden in that game. I'm not sure. Just because of how pathetic that they were during that game. Again, they scored like 3 points in 3 quarters, and then they scored 6 in the fourth quarter, which is not a good sight. Not very competitive football. Moving on, probably the game of the day, not the night game, but like the whole, maybe the game of the day was the Chargers against the Browns. The Chargers beat the Browns 47-42. Justin Herbert is so for real. He is like matured. Not only is he a gunslinger, but he's a game manager. He knows how to make good decisions. He's level-headed. He's not too overexcited. He's very calm, cool, and collected. And they just there were some bad play calls, I think, from Kevin Stefanski. Some bad game management from that side. An absolute shootout, by the way. An absolute shootout. Everybody was there. LeBron James was there. A big Cleveland Brown fan, and it was a good game. It was fantastic. It was Red Zone had that game on a lot, and it was very good. Everybody looks like the Chargers really look like an actual threat. They could be. They could potentially be the biggest threat to the Bills, I think, because I still think that the Bills are the best team in the AFC. But moving on, the Giants lose to the Cowboys 44-20. With that score being said, 44-20. There's no question that the Cowboys are one of the better teams, not only in the NFC. They are the best team in the NFC East, but one of the better teams in National Football League. They just are now. Like, we have to just Cowboys haters, Cowboys doubters, Cowboys trolls. You just have to say it now. The Cowboys are one of the best teams in the NFL. They are now. There's no more of this like the Cowboys want to be. The Cowboys think that they are. No, the Cowboys are. One of the best teams in the NFL. Their one loss, again, if you remember, is to Tampa Bay opening day by 2 points. And I mean, like that should be. That's like one of the best. It's almost like a a college football loss. Like, you lose to, again, the champions, but by 2 points in Tampa. Like, you could have won that game. You could be 5-1. You should be happy with that loss because that's not a bad loss. Now, like we just covered, the Raiders losing to the Bears is a bad loss because at one point people thought that you were for real, and you're getting beat by a rookie quarterback in his first year with first team under Matt Nagy. That's embarrassing. I don't think that the Cowboys can feel embarrassed by losing to the Buccaneers, but also don't try to say like, oh well, the only team that we lost to was the Buccaneers, right? Don't get too ahead of yourself. Very good team though. I think the best, maybe the best in the NFC. Maybe Arizona is better, but or Green Bay certainly looked pretty good too. But definitely one of the best. I mean, this is absolutely also stating the fact that Dak Prescott is so legit. Could be the comeback player of the year, MVP, and he's in line for all of those accolades, all those awards this year. Moving on, the 49ers lose to the Cardinals 17-10. This was a test for the Cardinals. I got to say, this was not expected. I was expecting them to just beat them down. It was in Arizona, in their home stadium. Kyler Murray flying all over the place, playing amazing football for the past couple weeks. They kind of struggled here. They didn't look very convincing. The defense on San Francisco was playing very good. The San Francisco still is a team that has quarterback issues. Whether that be injuries or just like who they have, and offensive struggles. But they are a team that is capable of beating any team. Like they are. They're not like the Falcons or the Jets who don't have the capability. They have absolutely every capability and every ability to win every game that they play. Even against the only undefeated team in the Cardinals, even against them, they have that. They're well coached. They have Kyle Shanahan, who is absolutely quality in my opinion. Without a doubt, just absolutely a quality head coach. And even how much I even was bad mouthing Cliff Kingsbury last season. How he was just not fit for the job. Coming from college, we have been talking about Urban Meyer all this time, college coaches. This now seems to be in his stride, and he might have his roster of what he always wanted, and now he's actually letting it loose, and this is what he's always wanted to do, which is a good thing, which is good because they're playing very good. They deserve it all. Kyler Murray's looking amazing. DeAndre Hopkins he got another touchdown this game. And just looking good. They're looking very good. They do play in the NFC West, so they're going to have to face the Rams and Niners again, and even the Seahawks. So that's going to be a tough division, even with the Seahawks, because they're also well coached as well. They have Pete Carroll. They have a good quality coach that also wants to win. So this is just going to be of who's better, who's the best out of that division. It's going to be tough. And now we move on to the night games. Sunday night, we start off with the Bills beating the Chiefs 38-20. And I have to say, I'm not sure what's happening with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm really not sure what's happening. He didn't look good at all. Now, they did have an hour plus lightning delay, which was not, I was also watching the baseball game, so I didn't really pay attention to that. But it was a bad lightning delay. It was over an hour. It was kind of took me out of the game. Maybe it took out some of the players, maybe, but I would seriously doubt that. But Patrick Mahomes just did not look good. He had really bad stats. He had a few interceptions. Well, in the meanwhile, let's just look at what he had. He was 33 for 54, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He looked terrible. He looked really bad. It wasn't even close, really, between him and Josh Allen. Josh Allen went for 15-26, 315 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He also ran the ball a lot, which is very impressive because Josh Allen is he's like a bigger He's like a modern day younger Ben Roethlisberger back in the day. He's built. He's tall. He's big. And now in this game, he's not afraid to run out of the pocket, like run plays. Like he was almost like doing like Lamar Jackson type of plays. And I was just like, oh my God, with his rocket arm too. Like there's no doubt that he's got to be one of the better quarterbacks in this league. Not the best, I think. I mean, again, Mahomes has just not looked that good this year, and there's just no way of putting it. Now he can get better. I'm not saying that they won't. I think that they will, but it's not going to be like an easy. It might not be an easy process. It might be a little bit tougher because you got to deal with injuries. Maybe people are just like not on the same page as one another. I don't know. It's not gonna get any easier to get where you want to be, and that's back at the Super Bowl. So yeah, that was the Bills and the Chiefs final game of the week. I didn't even watch it because I was watching the baseball game. Like I said, it was a get on my face. What are you doing here? It was the Colts lost to the Ravens 25-31. Now the Colts were actually going to win this game. They were beating the fuck out of the Ravens. They were up a bunch, and then within the third quarter and the fourth quarter at halftime they were winning, and then but Lamar Jackson was just like, I'm not going to fucking lose to the fucking Indianapolis Colts. And then he just went off. I mean, he absolutely went off. He played unbelievable football. He took care of the ball. He ran the ball. He passed the ball. He did everything that you can possibly want for Lamar Jackson to do. And he did it so well because he's been criticized so many times, and I've been a part of that too, that sometimes he just runs and just doesn't want to throw the ball. And, that's exactly what he did last year. Now, not all the time, but he did do it quite a bit. And that does kind of get me, not like, I don't get like pissed off, but I'm just like, bro, you're a quarterback. Throw the damn ball. And I just feel like the Ravens were just like, oh, he can run. Just make him run. It's like, no, he's the quarterback. He's got to throw the ball. If you just run him all the time, it's just going to be so obvious for every other team. So you finally get the full circle, right? He runs. He can pass this game. He does it all. He went 37 for 43 with 442 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, he just did it all, man. He did everything. It was amazing. He also rushed 14 times for 62 yards. And it was just incredible. And also the thing is, he's so durable too. He's just in a sense one of the most durable quarterbacks of all time. He can just take off running and he'll get tackled and he'll get pummeled, and he'll be like, oh shit, is he hurt? Pops right back up and he's like, I'm good. Let's just keep going. And the mentality that he has too, the team mentality, he'll do anything for the team and just want to win the game. I love that so much because that is what you want in your starting quarterback. Is just it's not all about me. It's about the team. And if I can do anything to help this team, I'm going to do it because I know that I'm capable of doing it. And just seeing, again, the leadership, the determination, and the will to win by Lamar Jackson in that game, in the highlights because I was watching the baseball game, it was awesome. I feel like now this might be, he could potentially do another fucking run for the MVP. I really do think so because let's face it. That's just the MVP is just the best quarterback award nowadays because they got Offensive Player of the Year, which can be any other fucking position, but MVP is becoming just the best quarterback award. Let's just face it. But again, yeah, Lamar's playing amazing. He's playing very good. I think that he's. They're playing a lot better. They're now 4-1, which is very convincing. Again, they lost their only game that they lost was to the Raiders, which do look very bad right now. That was all fluke. I think that they'll be very threatening. The Colts are 1-4 now. I mean, we might want to rethink HBO. You might want to rethink who you cover for the mid-season Hard Knocks because I don't think anybody's going to want to watch if it continues a 1-12 team. I'm not saying that it's going to, but if it does continue, it's not going to make very compelling TV. And then you'll be hit with another Hard Knocks is not very good anymore, or Hard Knocks sucks. because it will actually suck. You will actually be covering a bad team. But yeah, that's going to be it for this week. Good show, everybody. Hopefully we could get some movie reviews in, because I did say that I was going to watch No Time to Die. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to the theater because of some stuff happening. But I do plan to get out reviews, though. I'm not going to bail on you. I do intend to see No Time to Die. I do want to see what is it? What's coming out? The Last Duel, which is also coming out this week, and then Dune, of course. I got to get my thoughts on all those movies coming out, because this is it, baby. If you are a movie person, if you're a movie fan, this is gonna be the time to go see the movies. I know that there's still the pandemic and they're still concerned about that, but if you feel comfortable, go ahead and do it. Again, if you feel comfortable, that's your choice. Or wait for it to be on streaming, whatever you want. But I just know that I'm going to go see those, because I want to see, especially Dune in the theater, in IMAX. I want that full experience, because that's going to be something that we haven't had in a while. Like a movie on that scale, on that big of a skeptical. But yeah, can't wait. Anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Again, you can follow this podcast at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Again, at the name. Leave a comment, subscribe, follow, review, rate, subscribe, review, leave a star rating. Do all that stuff. I appreciate that very much, and I will see you guys back next week.